Hello, my name is Bree and I'd like to welcome you to my channel, Breezy Banter, the place where I talk about the things I want to talk about. In today's video, I'm doing a continuation of the series that I have here on my channel where I discuss some of the perfumes that I've tried from my particular indie perfume house, as well as my overall experience purchasing from that house. Today's video is going to focus on the house Kyse, is how I believe it's pronounced. And what I typically do in these videos is I'll tell you the name of the perfume that I bought, what I would rate it out of 10, if I got it as a free sample, whether I want to full size it, or in some cases, whether I've already full sized it, the notes as described by the house, and then my personal experience wearing the scent. I'll also tell you about my experience purchasing directly from the brand, so whether there were any issues with customer service, the turnaround time when I had purchased versus when the product actually shipped. And then I'll conclude by talking about who I think the house is particularly good for. Before we begin, I'd like to just state up front what my likes and dislikes are when it comes to perfume. In terms of what I like very feminine leaning gourmand scents. So basically anything that contains vanilla, cake, cotton candy, sugar, and some fruit notes such as lime tend to very much be up my alley. In terms of what I think are okay notes, or they can be more hit or miss, include some fruit notes such as peach and musk and amber. And then in terms of notes that I dislike, basically anything that contains rose, pumpkin, incense, wood, or anything that tends to lean more masculine. So with all of that out of the way, let's get into discussing these perfumes. So the first perfume that I tried from them is called Bonbons à la Vanille, which I rated 7 out of 10, and I will not be full sizing it. The notes are Tahitian vanilla beans made into a new accord, some Peru balsam, and a warm skin scent base. I said this scent is very warm and vanilla-y. It smells somewhat similar to some Sud Pacifique scents, which if you haven't tried Sud Pacifique, they basically have a line that I believe you can get at Sephora and perhaps some drugstores. And they're basically some variation of like a vanilla coconut blend. They're very summery type scents. So that's what this one had reminded me of. Next is the scent Bonbons au Lait, which I rated 7 out of 10, and I will not be full sizing it. The notes are milk, sugar, custard, ice cream, sandalwood, and warm musk. Yummy ice cream in a cone. I said, as described, I definitely get an ice cream milky sweetness from this. Next is the scent Cacao Noisette, which I rated 8 out of 10, and I will not be full sizing it. The notes are cocoa powder, hazelnut, caramel, Tahitian vanilla, and soft snuggly musk. I said the scent is like vanilla cocoa, but make it sexy. I would full size it, but this is one of the few Kyse scents that doesn't last that long on me. Next is Cocco alla Vaniglia, which I rated 7 out of 10, and I will not be full sizing it. The notes are coconut pulp, CO2, vanilla beans, organic tonka bean butter, and cream. I said this is a very summery scent given the coconut. I think the cream is adding a lactonic note that decreases my interest in it. Overall, it's not bad, but it's also not full size great. Next is the scent Crema de Lime et Cognac, which I rated 7 out of 10, and I will not be full sizing it. The notes are cream, key lime, and green cognac with nuances of bamboo and hay to keep the sweetness in check. I said that this is a really nice scent that starts out with quite a bit of vanilla and lime, but over time it becomes more earthy. The scent is noticeably weaker than other Kyse scents. Next is Delizia di Marshmallow, which I rated 10 out of 10, and I want to full size this. The notes are marshmallow, vanilla, and sugar. I said, yum, this, exactly this. Next is the scent Douceur Brulee, which I rated 8 out of 10, and I also want to full size this. The notes are lemon, browned caramel, butter, coconut milk, beeswax absolute, oak moss, ambroxan, and musk. I said I was pretty shocked to see lemon included in the notes. I don't necessarily get that note, but I definitely get the warm coconutty caramel from it. It is really gourmandy and sweet. Next is Frollino Lavanda, which I rated 9 out of 10, and I do want to full size it. The notes are high elevation lavender, sugar, butter, caramel, beeswax, vanilla blackberry. I said this is a really nice sweet lavender scent. It smells similar to some other perfumes I have, such as Sleepy Ghost by the company Poesi. It is super lovely. Next is Fumée Vanille, which I rated 6 out of 10, and I will not be full sizing it. The notes are smoky deep vanilla with the tiniest of bitter feel. barely perceptible coffee and oak moss base notes edge out the sweetness. I said that this scent started out quite dark, but the smokiness settled / rounded out into something a little less smoky after some minutes and throughout the day. What came out after time is as described, a nice melange of smokiness and sweetness from the vanilla. I don't really get coffee and oak moss, but I do get something I can't quite put my finger on. In general, it's a nice scent. I'm just not into smoky scents. Next is Gâteau de Carnavale, which I rated 6 out of 10, and I will not be full-sizing it. The notes are funnel cake, vanilla latte, toasted brown sugar, and apricot. I said the scent is more gourmand than sweet, but it's still nice and inoffensive. There is still that slightly woody note that comes through, as it tends to from Kyse. Next is Glace à la Fleur d'Orange, which I rated 7 out of 10, and I will not be full-sizing it. The notes are orange blossom ice cream, vanilla, soft skin musk. I said that this scent has a smokiness to it, which I suspect is coming from the musk when first applied, but it mellows out to a really delicious orange floral sweet scent. Next is the scent J, like just the letter J, which I rated 6 out of 10, and I will not be full-sizing it. The notes are vanilla absolute, tobacco absolute, Himalayan cedarwood, and agarwood. I said the scent is really lovely, but it smells like the typical Kyse scent that I've come to know, which is vanilla, slightly sweet with a little wood. I can ever so slightly smell the tobacco in it. Next is Jasmine Macarons, which I rated 8 out of 10, and I will not be full-sizing it. The notes are jasmine absolute from India, caramelized sugar, buttercream, heliotrope, and copaiba balsam, and powdered sugar sandalwood base. I said this scent is super yummy. It's sweet, but deep and rich from the sandalwood. It has almost like a wetness to it, like sugar in a steam room. Next is the scent Macaron, which I rated 8 out of 10, and I might full size. The notes are heliotrope, marzipan, hint of cherry, caramelized sugar, velvety vanilla custard, and a soft, smooth myrrh. I said this scent smells like the most average Kyse scent possible, not in terms of quality, but in terms of mixing the average amount of vanilla and sugar and all of their scents together. Next is the scent Oui Plus, which I rated 6 out of 10, and I will not be full-sizing it. The notes are graham cracker, marshmallow, cocoa absolute, Peru balsam, patchouli, styrax, and a bit of burnt coffee. I said that this scent is a slightly more masculine version of most other Kyse scents. I can smell the smokiness in it without it necessarily having a smoke note, and it's generally less sweet compared to their other scents. Next is Praline au Caramel, which I rated 8 out of 10, and I want to full-size it. The notes are pistachio praline, salted caramel, pau, and coconut CO2. I said the scent is quite gourmand with a sweetness and a touch of floral notes to it. It is a difficult scent to explain, I suspect because of the pistachio, but it smells really, really nice. Next is Vanille de Cèdre, which I rated 8 out of 10, and I do want to full-size this. The notes are Himalayan cedarwood, Tahitian vanilla beans, oak moss, and a hint of sweet musk base. I said the scent is sweet and yet musky without being too deep. It is overall an inoffensive, cozy scent. Lastly, I tried Zucchero Filato, which I rated 9 out of 10. The notes are spun sugar, berries, and more spun sugar. I said, interesting, I don't get berries from this at all, but I definitely get a vanilla sugar scent. So that's everything that I've tried from Kyse. I think as you can tell, it seems like a house that would be very much geared towards my preferences. One of the things that I wanted to mention is, I mentioned this in a few of the individual scent descriptions when I was talking about my experience with them. There's a scent that kind of underlies so many of their scents, and it's a bit difficult to describe, but I feel like once you know it, you can't unsee it or you can't unsmell it. And it's basically this like smoky vanilla, and it just appeared time after time when I was trying their scents. I don't think it's their perfume base, because if it was in every single scent, that would make me think it's something in their base. But because it was in most, but not all, I think it just might be the way that perhaps 2 or 3 of the notes tend to interact with each other. So what I found is, although there's some variation in some of the scents that I tried, there was a samey-ness to a lot of the scents. And what that meant was, because this house does have a lot of perfumes that are very much up my alley, they were all just kind of good, kind of no matter what. But it also meant that none of them really stood out. There's the one, Delizia di Marshmallow, that I rated 10 out of 10, that was like perfect, but everything else, it was all good, is basically what it comes down to. In terms of customer service, I have only purchased from them one time. I placed an order on March 26th and they shipped my order April 1st. I did not receive any free samples in my purchase. I will just mention that not receiving or receiving free samples doesn't matter to me. What I care about is that I get the items that I paid for. So if I do receive a free sample, great, but if I don't, it's not like a point off or a negative for that particular store. In terms of who I think this perfume house would be good for, I would say basically anyone that has a similar scent profile as I do, which is if you're really into gourmands. However, I would say that this perfume house is really for you if you enjoy gourmands mixed with musk and or wood, because as I mentioned, so many of their scents seem to have that going for them. I also think this house is appropriate for those who are looking for cozy scents. I think if you tend to lean into more masculine scents, you're probably not going to find that many scents from Kyse that work for you. That's of course not to say that you can't or that there are none, just that I don't think that's who this house is really catering towards. So that's all that I had to say about this particular house. Before you go, I'd love it if you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'd also really love to hear if you've heard of this house, and if you have, if you've tried anything from them that I didn't mention that you think I should try, because I will likely be purchasing from them in the future, and I'd love to add on a sample of something that I haven't tried yet. Before I go, I'd like to take a minute to thank you for taking time out of your day to spend watching this video. It really means a lot to me. Thank you.